Yes, our next speaker is Stacey, and Stacey is the Director of Advocacy and Engagement with our partners at Citizen. Stacey, I didn't want to attempt your last name. I'll let you say it yourself.
Hi there, everybody. My name is Stacey Tinianov, and it's okay to mispronounce my last name. I am actually not the Director of Advocacy and Engagement anymore at Citizen. I've moved into just an advisory role. But can you guys see the slide that I'm sharing, or the image that I'm sharing?
Yes, we can.
Right
and also you're a survivor, so please add that.
Yeah, I am. Hold on a second. This is a really unique. So I am here representing Citizen, but just listening to Dr. Park and Dr. Benny and Dr. Lopa. Really, I think what I want to share with you, for those of you who I don't know, is the fact that I joined the cancer world a little over 7 years ago when my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. And my mom, for those of you, there's a little bit of feedback. My mom, for those of you who, can you guys maybe mute if you're not? Okay, are you still there?
Yes, we are. Go ahead.
Okay. My mother was diagnosed at 64 years old, which if you listen to Dr. Park's presentation, she was postmenopausal. She was just right in that sweet spot for when women are typically diagnosed with breast cancer. So I left my high-tech job in Northern California, and I started to fly back and forth between here and Texas, where she was being treated. And really just, she was pretty much that textbook case. Here's breast cancer, this is what you do, this is your treatment, blah, 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 blah. 4 months later, I had my very first mammogram, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I fell into that category that we didn't know a lot about. We still don't know a lot about. I was premenopausal. I was 20 plus years younger than the average breast cancer patient. And every time I asked a question about my disease or my treatment, I heard, we don't have enough data. And for me, that was infuriating, because in those 4 months, I knew that we had 1.4 million people diagnosed with cancer every year just in this country alone. That number's gone up to 1.7 million people, but we still often hear we don't have enough data to answer our questions. I'm going to skip through a lot of this because I know that we're a little behind. So Peggy, I'll see if I can get you closer. I joined Citizen because Citizen was about giving control back to patients at a time when a lot of us feel like we have very little control. We heard Dr. Benny talk about all of these studies that he wants to do, all of these studies that he's excited about, and he doesn't have the data, whether that be in tissue, whether that be in health records. He doesn't have the data to make those studies possible. Again, as patients, we feel like we sit and we wait and we modify our diets and we modify our exercise routines as we receive data from that clinical realm or that research realm. And the reason that I joined Citizen, and I think all of you on the call today are familiar with Citizen because we've been partnered with you guys for a year now, is because it really does start to give some of that control back. All of the things that Dr. Benny wants to do, patient-derived xenografts, studies into metabolism studies, we want to help enable, but we, meaning me as a patient, are tired of waiting. We're tired of waiting for research to have to build the case to get the funding to drive these studies that we need. And so we partnered with, and let me skip a few more slides here. We partnered with the Male Breast Cancer Coalition because you are an overlooked and underserved population. And we know that we do deep research where there's a large data set. And candidly, I think this is not a surprise to anybody, especially when you do research into drugs, into therapeutics. Pharmaceutical companies need to make money back on whatever drug they design. And so if the population is very, very small, the upside financially for them is very, very low. And if you look at the rare disease community, again, even outside of cancer, you see that we only really start to drive change when we start to gather together and show them that there is a cohort that's interested and show them that there is a data set big enough for them to look into. One of the other things we've talked about with the Male Breast Cancer Coalition is to help you guys set up a registry. Again, this would be a patient-driven registry. There are a lot of registries that you are part of already, maybe, that you don't even know about. In the US, the way that the data exchange works is once you're treated at a healthcare facility, they have the legal right to take that data, to de-identify it, so it doesn't include your name or your birth date or anything like that, and to share it and sell it and do whatever they need to do out the back end. Again, what we're proposing is that that's still going to happen, but in the meantime, we can start to take control, and through all of the efforts you guys have already done around building awareness, just the fact that male breast cancer even exists, start to build awareness that if we start to help pull that data together, researchers like Dr. Benny, like Dr. Lopa, like Dr. Park can start to see some of these trends that right now we only speak of kind of anecdotally. One person has this and another person has this, and we say, "Ooh, that's interesting," but we're not actually going to get research to focus on it until we can present to them something that says, "Wow, this is potentially a trend." That's going to help them build a research case to get funding to do the deep research that we need. So with that, again, Peggy, I know you've shared this profusely, but this is the 100 Strong campaign. This is the combined goal of the Male Breast Cancer Coalition and Citizen to help 100 men get control of their health data. And then at some point, they can make the decision whether or not they want to share it with research. And we would set up, specific research programs with you in the driver's seat. So I have a thoughts questions slide. I'm happy to take any questions, but Peggy, hopefully that will get you a little bit back on schedule.
Yes, you're in great shape. We have at this point, I think 26 signed up. We're a far cry from the 100 we would love to have of men signing up for Citizens. I personally have been able to sign up for this because I am at high risk for breast cancer and on cancer drugs right now myself because of Brett. And using the Citizen app, I'm going to tell you, and I'm sure Michael Singer and a few others can attest to this that are signed up, makes your life so much easier because all of your medical records are in one place for all to send a link to your doctors and anyone that needs your information. And it has made my life so much easier. And I can tell you, my husband just went through an emergency surgery, and to have to go find all of his medical records in an emergency situation when he had emergency surgery last week was a nightmare, guys. I lived my nightmare that I knew could happen. And for Brett and I to have the opportunity to have our records all in one place, I can't say enough for the Citizens app. And I thank you and the founder of Citizen for making our family's life a lot easier, Stacey. So I can't thank you all enough. And I tell every one of you guys, if you have not signed up, it is so simple. It's on our website. We will share the links to you again and again. Go sign up because your life, it's free, costs you nothing, but it will save you time and energy, especially through the COVID-19 pandemic. God forbid any more of our guys get this. Your records are on one place for your doctors to know all your past history. Mine's going back as far as 10 years on me right now. It was able to gather that information. So I'll attest to you all as our family. It's been an amazing, amazing deal. So who else might have questions for Stacey? Is there anybody there?
Yep, Dave Didak, I've got a question. I've signed up for the Citizen, and we've gone through some gathering of information. I guess my question would be, how do I access that? And how do I get it to a doctor if I needed to?
So if you've signed up and if you've requested information, you have a unique space, and I hesitate to call it a portal, yet that terminology is pretty common. So you should have, you've created an account, so you should be able to log into that account. Within that account, all of your records, so all of your medical records in the form of kind of PDFs, but also all of your imaging data in the form of the DICOM images, and what's called a cancer summary view. So it would be all of the things related to your cancer that have been pulled out and kind of presented to you are all in there. And within the platform itself, there is the capability for you to choose to share that. So if you wanted to share it with an oncologist, all you need to have is that oncologist's email address. And then you can choose whether you want to share your entire designated record set, including the images and everything, whether you just want to share a cancer summary view, whether you might just want to share any genomics reports that you have. Again, if somebody were doing a study and it was just, you know, primarily genomics phase. So I'm happy if you want to, Peggy, if you can connect us via email, and I'm happy to introduce you to Sophia, who's running more of the support on that to make sure you can get what you need.
Stacey, if you want to share in chat your email, that way everybody would get it. You see right there in the chat window?
Absolutely.
And then everybody can have it there. Lisa, do you have a question? Or no? Okay. I'm gonna mute you. Okay. Bill has a question.
Yeah, I'm curious about the kind of security and the safety of the data that you are gathering.
Yeah, it's a great question. So Citizen uses Amazon Web Services, which is a pretty standard service, and Amazon Web Services has built its business on keeping data safe and secure. I would absolutely be lying to you, and I don't lie, to say that there's no way, you know, anything's gonna get into that data. We've seen, you know, Anthem was just hacked the other day. So there's always a chance that something could happen in this digital realm. That said, your data is encrypted. It is, you know, as safe as it can be. And what's more is there is no backdoor to Citizen, and that's really key for me. Citizen doesn't share. We're not monetizing your data out the back end by de-identifying it and selling it to anybody. We're giving you a safe space for it, and then you get to control who you share it with. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, for the most part, it does. Personal data records, for instance, is any work done to detach our name and Social Security from the other data so that it makes it more difficult to align the data with identifying a person?
Are you talking about when you share it, or just as it's stored?
No, as it's stored. There are methods to sort of create a blind identity on data that is then linked to a random number or randomized name, which then links to a person. So you've got several layers of separation actually from the name and some other data. And I guess my biggest concern and reason I haven't yet signed up was about the security of the information.
Yeah. So, Bill, I will tell you that, you know, my level of understanding from a security standpoint is really around the encryption pieces, which, again, the way that I visualize it is it's not easy to put all of this stuff together, but I am happy to connect you with the team at Citizen that can talk. It sounds like you've got a whole nother level of understanding around security, and I would love for you to get all of those questions answered.
That'd be great.
If you're amenable to that, we can set that up.
Yes, connect with her. Her email's in the chat, but also we had a great GoToMeeting 2 months back, Stacey, that I will try to share, find that link. It's on Facebook, the Brothers page. You can go rewatch that recording, which is amazing. But also we would like, Stacey, to get Citizen back here on our next GoToMeeting. So more questions and more guys can get signed up, especially after our virtual conference, because now you guys are more aware of it. And yes, we want it to be secured. And they go to great lengths to make that happen. And I agree with Stacey. She may not have all the answers, but but Sophie and a few others that were on that other call, and even the founder. Did you give a little bit of background of the founder, Stacey, why he's done this?
It's funny. I apologize. I was looking at the chat, and it seems like other people know Anil and Tanya as well. Anil Sethi is a serial entrepreneur. He's the founder of Citizen, but before that, he was the founder of several other health tech companies. I met him 10 days after my second mastectomy, when I couldn't even lift my arms up this high, at a precision medicine conference. And we had a conversation because he was doing what I wanted to do. I was so frustrated that I was hearing things like we didn't have enough information. I was so frustrated that, you know, for as much progress as we say that we've made in breast cancer, we still have 116 people dying every day. I wanted to take all of my health data and I wanted to put it on a billboard and say to every researcher, dig, find what you can, you know, not just the causal pieces, but what's the best treatment path? How do we, you know, what are the confounding factors? And I met this man who just has this very calm demeanor. And he said, I think we can do that. And he was at the time working, or had made a company called Glimpse. And Glimpse was about taking basically just a portal pull. So most of us have online health portals with our healthcare facilities now. And it's not your entire designated record set. It's a snippet. It's the, you know, important parts of your health record. And Glimpse was about pulling that into a safe and secure space, acknowledging that in the cancer space, oftentimes you're treated at multiple facilities. And so Glimpse was about pulling that data together, aggregating it, and giving you this consumable kind of report, a glimpse into your cancer. The way that he was doing it was wonderful, but it was very techy. And so I said, yeah, if you want people to actually use this, let's have a conversation about what we want to see and what's helpful to us. And so we worked together on he called me 3 months after I started working with him, and he says, Stacey, I need help. My baby sister Tanya, has been diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer. So de novo metastatic breast cancer. She was 46 years old. And here was a man with financial means, with connection, with all of these things, and he was in the same damn place every single one of us are when we get a diagnosis. Like, what the hell do I do now? I met Tanya. Tanya and I became close friends. Long story, but Anil had gone far enough with Glimpse that it was an incredibly viable technology, and he sold it to Apple. So if any of you have iPhones, if any of you participate with the Apple Research Kit or the Apple Health Kit, that's the Glimpse technology as Apple's utilizing it. He took some time from Apple to travel the world, and it's not hyperbole. He traveled the world to try to get Tanya the best care. They saw 23 different oncologists. They went to 17 different health institutions. And by God, if the biggest challenge for them wasn't having all of the data in one place so they could have the conversation. Ridiculously ironic. And what he realized was the health data from the portal was great, but that is not the level of data that we need for a second opinion, for a third opinion, to get into a clinical trial. What we needed was all of the data. We needed the imaging. And so Tanya died on the 11th of September in 2017. And Anil committed to her to not take his foot off the gas, that we really needed to kill cancer. Tanya was a big fan of swear words, so there's a big sign that says, you know, F cancer when you walk into the Citizen office building, and Anil has been focused, you know, in that space ever since. So it is a labor of love, and whether you want your health data just to have it, just to better understand your own disease, whether you want your health data to, as Peggy mentioned, to be able to facilitate, you know, a consult, a second opinion, have all the information before you go into surgery, or whether or not you want to take that data and you want to start to drive research. You know, there's a big movement in the diabetes community called "We Are Not Waiting," and a lot of this spurred the invention, the creation of the artificial pancreas. And so in the cancer community, we don't want to wait either. We want to be able to drive the research, and we want to be able to find the best treatments. And yeah, sorry, I didn't help with the time thing.
No, we thank you, because that is the knowledge that everybody needs to know, why the passion is here for Citizens, to get you. It's here only to help you, but also help the researchers. Dr. Ben has a question here, Park.
Well, it's more of a comment to amplify Stacey's. She and I, this is almost weird to me because she and I have been texting back and forth on here. So I actually was one of those consultants for Tanya
Yes.
back in 2017. And
Wow.
I met Anil, and he had just sold the company to Apple. And afterwards, he was a pretty broken man. I mean, he just lost his baby sister, and he was angry and he was frustrated. I remember having conversations with him on the phone that he was going to do this focus. Glimpse was more about global health or general health, not cancer specific, and he was going to focus on cancer. And so it's somewhat fortuitous because, you know, he did his, global sojourn, and that's right when I was moving to Vanderbilt from Hopkins after 20 years. And we kind of got so busy, I'm sure, and lost touch. And I just sent Anil an email and CC'd Stacey that it's like weirdly divine intervention to me. So I'm going to touch base with him, because what I'm trying to do is exactly this, is democratize precision oncology and make it available for everyone, that not just people with financial means should be able to get the best state-of-the-art care and testing anywhere. And this is aligning perfectly with what Anil and I had talked about back in 2016, 2017. So yeah, this is what this conference does. It's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you all. This is it. Very powerful, Stacey. Very powerful.
I'm giving you a big hug, Peggy. I'm coming there for Mama Burgers as soon as
We're gonna have it, guys. We're gonna have them. I guarantee you.